Hello Gemini, and welcome to your January 2019 Lenormand reading. The Lenormand cards, totally different than the standard tarot deck. They were created by Madame Lenormand, Lenormand in Paris. And I love them because they're reminiscent of the gypsy cards, like how we used to read with just a standard playing deck. However, there's some very specific cards and card meanings. There's only 36 cards. There's a few different spreads, but the one that is most well known is the Grand Tableau. And so I'll be doing a Grand Tableau, but I'll be doing an abbreviated version because it is a very in-depth reading. So if you're interested in doing a Grand Tableau for yourself, I will tell you, I mean, this is going to be general, but doing one on your, reaching out to me and I can do one with you is definitely something to consider because it gives you some very specific storylines of what's happening currently, and it's incredibly accurate, probably the most accurate in terms of any readings that I've ever had or given. So we'll do our general here, and then if you have any questions, just leave your comments in the box below. I'd love to hear more from you. Thank you as always for liking and sharing and subscribing. We're going to be using the Gilded Reverie Lenormand deck, and I have pre-shuffled, and I will shuffle a bit more just for you. And then we're going to place the cards out, and hopefully I line them up. That's always the challenge, is to line them up properly. So for Gemini, January 2019, what do we have coming up for Gemini? Let's see. So we'll lay it out, see where it all begins. All right, here's the story. Lily, the dog, the child, birds or storks, the letter, the bouquet, the clover, and the man. Here we go. The ring, the mice, the house, the tree, sun, the moon, it's nice to see those two, the park or the garden, and the ship. Now here are the birds, the actual birds, which are the owls in this deck. Paths or crossroad, and the scythe. The coffin, the anchor, the book, stars, and the mountain. Okay, let's see if I really did line this all up. Woohoo! The whip, still doing good. The fish, the snake, the clouds, the key, the fox, the heart, and the tower. All right, our last line, and of course I did not line it up right, so let me get this properly set. Here we go. Let's see, I got 4 more. The cross, the rider, the woman, and the bear. And I know the bear's falling off, but we're gonna go with it. Okay. So the woman and the man are the significators in the reading, the main reading. If you are of the feminine quality, this is where you're landing. If you are of the masculine quality, this is where you're landing. I'm going to start reading this as if it's a sentence, and we'll see how this story unfolds. So just give me a moment. Okay. So the lily is, it's a antiquity, it's sensuality, and it is also like older relationships or older people. So there's some kind of old friendship, because the dog is a loyalty and a friendship card. So there's an old friendship, or it could have been a friendship that was that delved into the sensual nature, the sexual nature, so friends with benefits kind of thing. But it was a new one, a relatively new or yeah, a relatively new one, even though I said old here, so this is interesting. Hold on, give me a second. So if it was a friends with benefits, it was a new one. If this was an old friendship, then there's a child involved, or that one of you two might have had a child in the near past, okay? I'm reading it as if we've got both of our significators here, okay? So there was some kind of youthfulness or a child involved that brought a new beginning, and this new beginning had something to be doing. It came forth with a letter or an email or a text. Okay, and that letter and email and text brought good news, and it was soft and beautiful to this man or of this man. Okay, so very easily said is that there's a friendship, there's a loyal friendship that's involved. It's something that has to do with either sensuality or antiquity, being older. And that this friendship might have brought children, or it might be a childhood friendship that maybe popped back up just in the near past with, you know, maybe an email out of the blue or a text out of the blue, but something came up, and it was a great, like, hey, how you doing? It's good to see you again, and here I am. Okay, so if this is coming to you and you're of the feminine nature, it was a man reaching out to you. Okay, so that's our first line. The second line, the ring, is about commitments. So there's something about, and this is probably going to be a contract having to do with this house. So there was some kind of dis-ease with this contract, this house contract. So there was a lease that was signed, or a maybe there was a house that was purchased, and there was something that was uneasy about that. Now, it does seem to get to a positive place, so it could have just started with it being in a, you know, maybe there was a rush to get there, because I think the interest levels have just changed recently in the U.S. So there was something about buying a house that was a little like, there was some anxiety about it. And, you know, when you're putting in bids on houses, that makes sense. So anyway, purchasing or moving into a new house, but there's something about like a good, either this is going to be a long-term move for you that is solid and has a lot of growth potential, because the tree is about legacy. It's also about family. So if you're setting down roots with this house, this is beautiful. You're setting down roots that are positive. The moon here, it's a nice balance. The sun is probably going to shine out the moon, but what I'll say is that it's going to bring strength as well as clarify whatever hidden emotions might have been there. But the moon is a card of just being emotionally connected, okay? So there's going to be an emotional connection also to this house. So it's family, it's strength, it's emotional connection to this home. And there could also be talk about it publicly, or maybe this was a foreign home, actually, because the ship is signifying a travel, okay, or an adventure or a new journey. And the garden is very public. So what this could have been is a home that has created a very public family or legacy, or something that's developing in this home that's becoming like a whole new journey and adventure that lots of people are seeing, lots of people in your community are recognizing. Okay, so this is our line about family, it seems. Or a new home. This is our line about friendship, or this, you know, relationship that kind of came back. And it's not signifying it's a love relationship up here. Okay, third line, we have some conversations, and there were some choices that created an ending, okay? Now, again, this is in the past because both of our significator cards are in the future. So there were some choices that were taken in the past that created an ending, and now there's a new strong foundation that was laid with the anchor. The anchor is about strength, and it's about what am I trying to say? It's stability. That's the word that I'm looking for. So despite something got cut to lay the groundwork for some stability. Okay, it's not telling me what, because it's just talking. You know, there's just talk here, But because of this conversation between two people, there was a choice that was made that cut out something to create stability. And then the stability revealed that there was going to be a little bit more struggle in the future, okay? Just a little bit more of a challenge coming up. The Mountain is a challenging card. That means that, there's still a bit of a journey moving ahead. The stars mean that it's destined, however, so they're going to light the way. So while it might be an arduous journey, at least it will be blessed. And it was something that perhaps might not have been known or come out of the blue from this, this decision that was cut, okay? So this line is about travel and personal choices. And it's interesting because the ship is up here, so I don't know, maybe we'll see how this line opens up in this next one. Okay, so now we have the whip. And the whip is telling us that it is, we've been in repetition, we've been kind of self-inflicting pain, okay? So finances have been challenging in the past, and there was some deceit as well. So you've got your finance card that's flanked by these two challenging cards. So you tried many things, it didn't quite work, there was some deceit, but what I will say is that because with the clouds being here, they're opening up for you, okay? So again, this is in your past. Significator from this point forward for the women, or the feminine energy is the future, and for the masculine, this is going to be your line here. So in the past, there were some financial troubles, but we're coming into what the truth will be, or what the secret to the next financial abundance will be. And that has to do with entrepreneurship. That's how I look at the fox. He's decisively witty. He is, he can move around and figure out, he's cunning, right? He can figure out the best way in which to handle the situation. And this, I think of when we're talking about work, when we're talking about finances, it has to do with entrepreneurs, or it's an entrepreneurial card. So the secret is really about choosing an entrepreneurial path. And there, the heart really means, it really does signify a relationship. So there could be a relationship involved with this. It could be that you're starting a relationship with an entrepreneur, or that you are building your own personal relationship with yourself as an entrepreneur. And how we end it is with the Tower, which is about organization. It's about larger constructs like corporations. So actually what I'm seeing is that it's you building your own business, okay? Where people might be working for you, in fact. So it may not be a solo entrepreneurial gig, you're building your own business. So this line is your finance line, okay? And then finally, we have our 4 end bits, our end cards are gonna tell us, we like to have it as a summation, so we'll see how it goes. So you have a burden or a cross to bear, something that is weighing you down, that was coming towards you, feminine energy. It's far, far away from the masculine, but that's okay. So there's a cross that was a burden coming towards you, feminine energy, and what it's left you with is this the Bear card. And what the Bear card signifies is the maternal energy. It's also another finance card. So I think we're connecting to this struggle, the financial struggle here, but we can relate it back here to all the other cards as well. Is that basically through the struggles, you're going to find that your inner strength is going to persevere, okay, if you're the feminine. Now, if you're the masculine, it's basically revealing that despite these troubles, you're still going to have there's a connection with a woman, and it could be your mother, but it could be someone who's outside of her, who is going to help you through financial issues, or to help you to get a little bit more grounded and strong in your business sense, if that makes sense. And there's emotional and nurturing there as well. It's just that the bear is much more powerful first, before we see the emotion, the loyalty and the love behind the power. So there's a powerful woman if you're in the masculine, that is going to help you. And then if you are the feminine, you are taking on that power. Okay? So I'm going to count, because sometimes when the cards will lay in their own position, that'll be another reveal. So let's see. 2, 6, 3, 4, 5, 3, 6. Okay, so none of the cards landed in their own house, which is totally fine. But what I do want to pull out here is, we have our commitment card. Let's talk about what's surrounding the commitment a little bit, okay? So we have old love, we have some anxiety, and then we have choices that come from conversations. So right now, any kind of commitment that you might be in, that is a love relationship, I'll just speak to that. Right now, there's a lot of anxiety surrounding that. There's a lot of beauty that's been there because it's been a deep, evolving love. There's loyalty. There's the stuff that we want relationship to be about. But there's been a lot of chatter, a lot of gossip, and right now you've got some choices to make about it. Now, it's up to you what will come from this, but right now you're in this place of not feeling easy about it, okay? The mice will take down a home, which is interesting because it was right next to the home here. So it's possible that in the past here you've had some dis-ease that has taken. And the home could even be your personal self. It doesn't have to be a physical home, but a lot of times it is. So that's why we read it that way. So there has been a lot of things that have shaken the foundation, shaken your core, shaken your sense of self, or the stability that you had at home. Okay, so that's what's been going on with anything that you're feeling committed to. And we'll talk about the emotions a little bit over here with the heart. Emotionally, it seems like what's best for you, if you're in the feminine, is if you're concentrating on your work, okay? It's going to be a challenge if you're kind of trying to move towards the masculine, because these cards up here, it could be an adventure in that challenge. It could be quite public in that challenge. It could be destined, but it is a challenge, if that makes any sense. These are all the cards that are between the heart and the man. If we went all the way from between the woman and the man, we've also got more of these, there's a key here, again, to being kind of independent, okay? So if you're the feminine working towards the masculine, remember that you need to maintain your independence. You need to be concerned about your work and what you're creating. Try not to get off too much towards your own path, but remember that it can be destined, that things will be revealed, that there is something about a community in which you will you'll meet him, community or trip, some type of. So if you're going somewhere in January, or if you're feeling like you're going on a journey, even if it's an internal journey, but some type of movement that's outside of staying home, okay, if that makes sense. And it will be a soft landing, if that makes sense. It's blessed, there's luck, and he's kind of surrounded in these lucky cards. So that's beautiful. And his journey towards you, he's going to have to backtrack a bit. He's going to have to move out of this luck and move back into the work ethic to find you, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's where the heart is. It's interesting that it's a bit of a jump. There's quite a bit of a difference between the masculine and the feminine here. And again, masculine, feminine, it's not gender specific, so we were just kind of going for the roles in order to read the significators. So that just helps us, okay? Now, what's another good one? We can talk a little bit about health here. So right now, we've got, the health is leading into a positively balanced place, okay? So that's good. What else is surrounding you is that there is probably there are some underlying issues, some probably fears that are underlying, but as far as we're moving forward, all of that is going to stay behind. So right now you're in line with the transformation card. So and there is some confusion here in this, but there's also a new beginning. So we're right in this same line with your health, where things are about to turn, things are about to change. Now, this can also be legacy or part of family too. So if it's not your personal health, maybe it's someone in your family, and there's been some challenges with someone in your family specifically that has been weighing you down emotionally. So we're talking emotional health, even spiritual health. So right now we're at a crossroads, right? And so the sun being here is going to outshine all of this. So there's really no issue I'm seeing. It's just that right now this is the questionable line, if that makes sense. And so you have some influences that are subconscious because they're up underneath, but they're not manifesting. Okay, but all in all, this is looking pretty good, at least for the month. It's pretty lovely of a spread. It's a hard one to kind of go into in this way, but I'm just kind of trying some new things, so we'll see how it goes. Let me know what your thoughts are, and if you want me to delve in a little bit deeper, I'm happy to do that in the future. So thanks so much, Gemini, for stopping by, and I'm wishing you a Happy New Year.